All right, hey family, I want to go ahead and jump straight into this video so I can go take my walk after this. I'm at the lake that most of you know that I walk around, but I did want to go ahead and knock this weight loss video out because it's going to be a little bit long, just because I have a lot of stuff to go over. The very first question that I normally get is why weight loss surgery? So I have been struggling with my weight my entire adult life. I have never quite gotten to a point where I've consistently lost weight and have able to stick to a regimen. It's like the main contributor of my weight gain, besides my horrible eating habits and the fact that I use food as a method of comfort and a coping mechanism. I also suffer from food addictions. So I think that the last straw that I had with my weight loss, I was doing the keto diet, and I had bought a bunch of meal prep bowls. I bought a scale, and I was doing really well, and I had lost about 25 pounds, and it was something I was upset about one day, and I said, you know what? You can have a cracker. I had a box of Ritz crackers, and I say, just eat one cracker. You can have one cracker. You'll be fine. Just eat a cracker. It'll make you feel better. You know, this is what I'm telling myself. So I eat the cracker, and then I say, you know, you need to look up and see how many, crackers you can have and still be up under your carb limit. Because I think you can have about 4 crackers and you can still, be up under your carb limit for the day. And, it'll probably make you feel better. You've been craving crackers and you've been doing so well on your diet. Go ahead and look it up. So I looked it up, and sure enough, I could have about 3 or 4 crackers. So I ate 3 or 4 crackers. And then I said, you know what? Eat a little bit more crackers, and then you just go walking. We'll go walking. You can go walking, and we'll make it up. We'll burn those carbs off. By the time I looked up, I had eaten an entire box of Ritz crackers. Did I feel better? No. I felt embarrassed. I felt ashamed. I was not happy with myself. Did it fix the problem about why I was upset in the first place? Absolutely not. It was at that moment that I felt my lowest, and I felt like I needed some help. Like, I really needed help. I like to go back and say that I have always been a confident person. My weight has always been like a weak point for me, but I was always confident in every other aspect of my personality, that I never really let my weight bother me. But it's certain things that I used to say, like, oh, my weight don't stop me from getting nothing but an outfit. But that's not true. It's not entirely true. I tell you what, like, I'm in a situation right now where I can't even teach my son how to ride his bike without his training wheels, because I can't run behind him while he's figuring it out. I can't hold him and, run behind him while he's pedaling until he figures it out. I feel like that's a great disservice to myself and my son, to be honest. And when I realized that, I kind of it hurts my feelings that I let myself get this out of shape, that I can't do something as simple as that with my child. So that's another reason that I wanted to change. I knew I needed help. I was willing to accept the fact that I needed help, and I needed the weight loss surgery to push myself where I needed to be. I want to say to anyone out there considering weight loss surgery, because I know it's still very stigmatized, which is very crazy to me, because in the age of BBLs and mommy makeovers, the fact that weight loss surgery is still very stigmatized is something I think needs to be addressed. If you need help, seek help. There's no shame in having weight loss surgery. It's no shame. If it's no shame in going to get your breasts lifted or get your butt enhanced or your breast reduced or your tummy tucked or anything else, then it shouldn't be a stigma on having weight loss surgery. The two things that I would hear on my process to getting weight loss surgery was, oh, the surgery is risky. Yeah, the surgery is risky, but you know what else is risky? Being almost 400 pounds. That's very risky. So I like to take the risk to change it than to just, not take the risk at all and still risk my health. The other thing that I would hear a lot was, oh, it's the easy way out. You're taking the easy way. And I am here to tell you that deciding to have weight loss surgery and going through the process is not an easy thing. It's not the easy way out. And even if it is an easy way out, if it's going to help you, if it's going to enhance your life, do it. Because at the end of the day, you're the only person that has to live with yourself. I don't know what I started rambling on about at this part, but I did want to say that the weight loss surgery is just a tool. You do have to work very hard to keep the weight off. A lot of people have the surgery and they do regain the weight. So it's not a quick fix. It's not the easy way out. You have to work hard. You have to work at it every single day to drop the weight, to be healthy, to make healthy choices, and to maintain your weight loss. So the decision was made. I wanted to have weight loss surgery. I had started a new job. I had been paying for insurance for about 6 months. So I called my insurance company on a whim just to find out what kind of coverage I had. I actually wasn't expecting to have any coverage, but I knew it was worth a shot. So I called. And fortunately for me, I had full coverage for weight loss surgery. They covered the surgery 100%. While I was on the phone with my insurance company and I found out I had coverage, I needed to know what the requirements were for me to be eligible. And I will preface this by saying every insurance company is different and every company's policies with the insurance company is also different. So the insurance requirements that I had were if you had a BMI over 40, you were eligible. You needed a physical and a complete medical history done by a surgeon. You had to have proof that you struggled with weight loss for 3 consecutive years. You proved that by having 3 years worth of weight records. You had to do a 6-month physician-assisted weight loss program within 1 year of within the year you were trying to have surgery. If you're a smoker, you could not smoke within 8 weeks of you having the surgery. If you had a BMI of 35 to 39.9, you were still eligible if you had a weight-related medical condition. Now, the weight-related medical conditions that were listed for my insurance were cardiovascular disease, insulin-treated diabetes, hypertension, and severe sleep apnea. So I knew the requirements. I was eligible. The saying, like, you have to have faith of a mustard seed. That's kind of how my weight loss surgery journey started. I literally called the insurance company. I had it in my head. I knew what the requirements were. And I had the faith of a mustard seed that somehow I was going to make this happen. And I would tell people I'm gonna have weight loss surgery, even though I hadn't made any steps towards having the actual surgery. So one day I was on the phone with my supervisor, and I said, "Hey, I'm thinking about having weight loss surgery." And she was like, "Oh, that's cool. I'm glad for you. I'm proud of you." And I didn't know she had me on speakerphone, but she had me on speakerphone. Maybe the next weekend. It was like the next weekend or maybe a couple days after I had spoken to my supervisor, I worked with this girl named Ty. And she said, "Hey, I don't mean to get in your business, but I did hear you said you were having weight loss surgery." I'm having it too. And I was so happy to find somebody who was trying to have it too, because I was actually completely lost in what direction I needed to go. Ty's information in the description box below, because she has absolutely been killing the weight loss journey. She has been a constant inspiration and motivation for me to just keep going and working as hard as I possibly can, because she has been working her behind off and she looks absolutely fabulous. So she became my surgery sister. She really became my sister in general, but for the sake of this video, she became my surgery sister. She already had a surgeon picked out, so I checked out the surgeon she had picked out. She sent me his information. He seemed like a very good surgeon, and she was halfway done with her 6 months appointments, but she had to start over because due to COVID, they shut her program down, and with the 6 months, they have to be consecutive back to back. You cannot miss a month, so she had to start over. So we were like, cool, we can do this together. She literally walked me through the entire process. I did end up having a snag in the road with my paperwork. Originally, I was told that I needed 2018, 2019, and 2020 weight records. So I was having an issue getting 2018. So I said, it's 2021. Like I probably can get 2021, right? And I was originally told that was fine. If I couldn't get 18, I could get 2021, and that's still 3 years. So by the time I went to go turn in my paperwork after my 7 months was up, I was told that no, 2021 isn't going to work. You need 18, 19, and 20. So I was having a problem getting 2018 weight records because I lived in another state during 2018. I went on the hospital patient portal, and all of the documentation that they had on me, none of it had my physical weight on it. So I was very discouraged. So I called a couple of places down there that I know I had like physicals and stuff done, and I finally found a place that had my weight on record. But they wouldn't send me the information without a statement from the surgeon. My sister called down there and was like, hey, is there any way we can get you guys to email this paper and all that? And nobody would help. They said they couldn't violate the HIPAA. And my surgeon said they couldn't send out a statement because they don't do stuff like that I would have to get it on my own. And this is what I mean about Ty being such a blessing. She drove me 4 hours to pick up this one piece of paper with my weight records on it. 4 hours there and 4 hours back. An 8-hour trip just for me to pick up my weight record. And I thank her so much, because without that paper, I would not have been able to have my surgery. Because of the situation with my paperwork, me and my surgery sister were not able to have surgery at the same time. She actually had gotten approved and had the surgery 2 months before I did. Well, I'm actually kind of thankful that she had it before I did, because I would not have been prepared for the pre-op diet if I hadn't seen her go through it first. But before I get into that, I'd like to talk about the out-of-pocket costs. So although the surgery was covered 100%, there were things that we had to pay for out of pocket. The first thing was the original surgeon consult. The copay was $30. Those 6 months of appointments with your primary care physician, there were 7 visits in 6 months. So there were 7 visits, and each time we went, we had to pay $30. So it's a copay of $30. We had to go to a nutrition seminar, and that was another $80. The hospital copay was $150 where the surgery actually took place. After surgery pain meds were $85, and over-the-counter vitamins were $109. Now, my over-the-counter vitamins now are a little bit cheaper because I did switch brands, which I'll go into more another video. But we do have to take a multivitamin, a B1, a B12, and an iron supplement. And I am also about to start taking biotin, because during the recovery period of my surgery, I did lose, I don't know if you guys can see, I did lose some hair. So I'm about to start a biotin supplement to help with that. Another question that I have gotten was about the pre-op diet. Now, I will say that every surgeon's pre-op diet is different. I am in a bariatric group on Facebook, and I have seen so many different diets. So every surgeon has a different policy when it comes to pre-op. But my surgeon put me on a 2-week liquid diet, and it was very difficult. It was extremely difficult. There were times where I just wanted to cry because I was so hungry. The diet consists of the first week full liquids, which is like cream of mushroom, cream of chicken soups, but you had to strain them because you couldn't have like the little pieces of meat in it. Jello, popsicle, sugar-free popsicles, water, Crystal Light. You had to make sure you had 64 ounces of liquid a day and 60 grams of protein a day. I drink the Premier protein shakes, which are 30 grams each, so we had to have 2 shakes a day. The second week of the liquid diet was a clear liquid diet, meaning you can only have like chicken broth and bone broth and clear stuff like sugar-free Jello, sugar-free popsicles, stuff that was clear, crystal. You could still have Crystal Light, and you still drank your protein shakes, obviously. And when you were done with the 2-week liquid diet was to shrink your liver, because if the surgery that I had was the vertical sleeve gastrectomy, which I should have said in the beginning, where they take your stomach and they cut off 80%. So your stomach is only able to hold a few ounces of food at a time. So they need to get to your stomach, they need to lift up your liver. And if you are overweight, most likely you have a enlarged, heavy, fatty liver. So June 14th, I got through the full liquid diet, I got through the clear liquid diet, and now is surgery day. I'm excited, I'm scared, I have all kind of emotions going through my body. Because of COVID, no one could come back with me. I was literally on my own. I was so terrified. I was on the pre-op table waiting to go into the room, and I had a really bad panic attack. Like, tears were rolling down my face. I have never had surgery before. I had never been put to sleep before, and I was terrified of getting put to sleep. I had tears rolling down my face. I felt like I couldn't breathe. Like, I literally had an anxiety attack. But because no one was there to comfort me, I kind of had to put my big girl drawers on and toughen up. And I knew I was going to be safe, because I knew, God has plans for me, and he wasn't going to let me die on the surgery table. So this can't be how my story ends. So, I went through surgery, and I will tell you guys, like, the waking up, going to sleep and waking up for surgery is such a weird feeling for the first time. Like, if you've had surgeries before, you get used to it, but that first surgery, I don't care what you're getting put to sleep for, that is such a weird feeling. I just remember talking to the anesthesiologist and talking to the nurse. They were asking me questions, and then I woke up with my surgeon standing over me saying the surgery went great. Like, it literally felt like 2 seconds. I don't remember falling asleep, and when I woke up, it was over. It was like such a weird feeling. So it is an outpatient procedure, because the type of VSG that I had was laparoscopic, I believe is the term for it, where they don't actually cut your belly all the way open. They make little incisions, like 5 or 6 incisions across your belly, and they stick the tubes and the cameras down there, the tools and the cameras down there to, make the incisions and make the cuts and pull out the belly and all that. So it is an outpatient procedure. We did have the choice whether we wanted to leave that same day or stay overnight. I did stay overnight. My mom came and picked me up from the hospital the next day. Mind you, she lives in Georgia. I had surgery in Alabama. And she came and got me and brought me back to her house. When you're sick or you just had some type of surgery or any type of thing like that, all you want is your mom. So I did go home with her, and I stayed there, was staying there for recovery. I ended up my mom and my dad ended up driving me back across state lines the very next day to the hospital I had surgery in because I felt like something wasn't going wrong right. I had a very bad burning sensation in my stomach and it wouldn't go away, and I was just in a lot of pain. They gave me like a little cocktail with like lidocaine and Malox in it, and that did make it subside, but it did end up coming back. But that's what they did for me at the emergency room. So I went back home to my mom's house, and it seemed like things were like touch and go. Like one day I'll be feeling good, like I'm doing good, and then one day, like the next day, I'll be feeling like crap again. So it was like very touch and go on my situation. I really wasn't sure about how I was recovering. Just for the sake of being transparent, when I first started, I didn't have any type of appetite, so I started smoking. I had like little bitty, cigweeds, and I would hit it once or twice 30 minutes before I would want to eat, and that kind of made me have some sort of appetite. I knew I couldn't keep doing that because I had to eventually go back to work, and my job does random drug tests, so I knew I had to stop that, which I did, but it did help out for the first week or two. When you had the surgery, your stomach is about 2 to 3 ounces. So they want you to drink 64 ounces of water a day, which is very, very hard in the beginning. You literally have to sip all day, every day. I definitely was not getting anywhere near 64 ounces of water, nowhere close to 64 ounces, not even a little bit close to 64 ounces. So I was extremely dehydrated. Once you have surgery, your diet kind of goes backwards. Like the week after surgery, you're on the clear liquid diet. Then the next week you're on the full liquid diet. Then the next week you're on a puree diet, which is like you got to put everything in the blender. The next week you're on a soft diet, which is like mashed potatoes and soft food like overboiled string beans and like soft boiled eggs and stuff like that. And then you're on a regular diet. So I went home. I was on a regular diet, but I was not eating. I couldn't eat anything. I would take one sip of water and I would throw up like I had a tummy full of food, and I didn't have anything in my stomach. And I just kept throwing up, and every day I kept getting worse and worse and worse. So I did end up going to the hospital. They kept me in the hospital for 6 days. I had my gallbladder removed, which is something that I was not aware of. That is very common. People who have weight loss surgery, it's so common that a lot of surgeons end up taking the gallbladder out when they do this actual surgery. So I've had my gallbladder taken out. This was a month to the date of my surgery. So now we're in July 14th. I had pancreatitis, very severe pancreatitis as well. That's why I was doing all that throwing up. And of course, like I said, I got my gallbladder removed. So I went home and I had a primary care physician appointment the week after I went home from the hospital. So I still wasn't doing good. I still was sick when I went home. I still was throwing up all the time. I wasn't pooping. I had very bad constipation. And every day I felt worse and worse and worse. I felt like I was dying. And I'm dramatic, but I really felt like I was dying this time. I started telling myself, like, you let society bully you into having the surgery. You were happy fat, and making all type of crazy statements, So I went to go see my primary care physician, and the second she looked at me, she said, "You got to go back to the hospital." She was like, "You got to go." And I was like, "No, I'm not going back to the hospital. I went already. I still felt like crap. They're not going to do anything. I'm not going back." And she was like, "Listen, you have to go back to the hospital. I will call the ambulance right now. You have to go back to the hospital." So I ended up going back to the hospital. They kept me for 6 days this time. I still had very severe pancreatitis, which I'll give you guys an idea about how bad my pancreatitis is. The enzymes in your pancreas, a normal level is 160. Now, they don't want that level to go over the 300s, and mine at the time was in the thousands. So I really was in really bad shape. I also had severe constipation. I hadn't pooped in like 2.5 weeks. And I also had a blood clot by my liver. They ran a bunch of tests on me. And this is something that I also want to share with you guys. When they were running the test on me, they were telling me before they got the results back that if there was something wrong with my actual sleeve, like if something went wrong with the surgery, that I might need a revision. And I was like, okay, but I don't want to go back to the same surgeon, because if he did something wrong, why would I want to go back to the person who messed up? And I talked to a couple different surgeons that worked at the hospital, and this information I'm about to tell you guys, I heard from all of the surgeons at the hospital. I also heard this from a surgical technician and a nurse, so it's good information. Child, surgeons do not like going behind other surgeons. They do not like messing with another surgeon's work, which I had no idea about that. I was married to the guy who did my surgery, so it ended up not being anything wrong with my surgery, but if it had been, I would have had to go back to him to have it resolved. And I say that because I think that people need to be very careful with who they allow do their surgeries, because once you have it done, you're basically married to that person, and it's going to be hard to try to find someone else to work on that work. So I ended up not having anything wrong with the surgery. I had pancreatitis, a blood clot, and severe constipation. They gave me blood thinners for the blood clot. They gave me something for me to start moving my bowels, and they had me on IV for the pancreatitis. So I stayed in the hospital for about 6 days again this time, and I knew I was dying. I just felt like it's over. It's over. This is my story. I don't know what the lesson here was, but I'm gone. And I hate it. I'm so dramatic. But my pancreatitis slowly got better. It was still in the 700s when they released me from the hospital, but because I started to pick up a little bit of an appetite and was able to move around a little bit, they let me go home. I went back to my primary care physician, and she said, I was so worried about you. She was like, if you hadn't gone back into the hospital when you did, I really don't think that you would have made it. And she was like, I'm just so thankful that you got through it, because you were in really bad shape. She was like, I looked at your chart every day because I was just so worried about you. So I did eventually end up getting better. I will tell you guys a couple of things that I learned going through that process. One, take it easy on the pain meds after surgery, because on the bottle it does say causes constipation, and I really did take that whole bottle in about a week. I really did overdo it on the pain meds. So I feel like that was a big cause of why I had constipation so bad. So if you don't need the pain medicine, don't take it. And if you do need it, just pace yourself and watch how much you're taking and be very careful. So once I got home and my appetite started to pick up a little bit, the only thing that I could hold on my stomach without throwing up were crackers. So I had a diet of cheese and crackers, which again, I could probably only eat 2.5 crackers, or like maybe 4 at the most if I didn't have anything else. But if I had cheese with it, it'd be about 2.5. I also was drinking orange juice, which is something we're not supposed to have, just because orange juice has a lot of natural sugar in it and a lot of calories. But those were the only things that were making me feel better, and it was the only things that were able to hold on my stomach. So I do believe you have to listen to your doctor, but at the same time, you also have to listen to your body. Anybody who knows anything about weight loss surgery knows that we're not supposed to eat crackers. Crackers are considered a slider food, meaning they slide through our sleeve easily, which means we can eat more of them than we're supposed to. So that is something that I did have to give up. Once I started to feel better, I did end up switching crackers for ultra thin deli sliced lunch meat. And that's what I started eating, and I put the crackers down. What I eat now, I eat cheese sticks, not mozzarella sticks, but like and not string cheese, but it's like little. It looks like string cheese, but it's just like little blocks, like little cut blocks of cheese. I eat a lot of baked fish. I made the personal choice not to go back to eating pork or beef, so I don't eat pork or beef. I haven't eaten pork or beef since I had my surgery. I don't drink any more juices. I have stopped drinking orange juice. I don't drink apple juice. I don't drink any juice. All I drink is water. I eat a lot of baked fish, like I said. String beans, steamed string beans, steamed broccoli is basically like the things that I eat. For exercise, I walk around this beautiful lake. I like to walk around it. I haven't been as consistent as I'd like to be. I get out here about 3 times a week, and hopefully I can do better in the future. I just want to tell you guys some things that I do struggle with because we're not perfect. I do have trouble eating and drinking at the same time. When you have weight loss surgery, you cannot eat or drink at the same time. You are supposed to wait. You're supposed to wait to drink 30 minutes after you eat, and you're not supposed to drink 30 minutes before you eat. If I said that right, it's kind of confusing. You can't eat and drink at the same time, which I still have trouble with. I still will make a mistake and eat something and take a swig because I'm used to eating and drinking at the same time. The other thing that I have that I struggle with are Cheez-Its. I still very much have a cracker. I don't want to say I still like crackers. I still very much like crackers. I've given up all crackers except for Cheez-Its. I do allow myself to have a little bag of Cheez-Its. And the reason why I want to put that in this video is because you don't have to be perfect to start. None of us are perfect. None of us follow exactly what we're supposed to do. The idea isn't to be perfect. The idea is to do it, try your best, and work to be better every day. And that's what I do. So where am I at now with my numbers? I started out at 396. Yeah, your girl was almost 400 pounds. And none of y'all told me that I was getting that big. But it's cool. I'm now at 320, which means I have lost a total of 76 pounds in about 4 months, which I'm extremely proud of myself for. What are my future plans? My future plans for the month of October, I will start intermittent fasting. This is on the recommendation of my surgery sister. I want to do a intermittent fasting between the Monday through Friday between the times of 6:30 to 2:30. During that time, I will only drink water. I will have a protein shake for breakfast and a protein shake for lunch. Other than that, it will only be water. Now, I will say this. After I had the surgery, I was no longer able to tolerate the Premier protein shakes or any milk-based shakes. So I have switched to a protein that is not milk-based. So I'll be doing that instead of the shakes. I do want to join a gym. The month of October, my first paycheck is coming up from my new job, and I'm definitely getting a gym membership, and I want to commit to 5 days a week. My ultimate goal, my yearly goal is to lose 100 pounds by my birthday. My birthday is the day after Christmas, and I'd like to be down 100 pounds by then. If I do, I have some rewards I'm rewarding myself with, like a tattoo on my wrist of my surgery date. I also want to do some kind of like balloon release party. And I just want to invite everybody to come together and kind of like release balloons with whatever you're dealing with, whatever baggage you have, release it up into the air, whether it's weight, whether it's anxiety, whether it's fear of failure, whatever you're battling, you write on the balloon and we're going to release it. That's something that I want to do if I make my goal by my birthday. My overall goal is to lose 200 pounds. 200 pounds would put me at 196, and then with the skin removal surgery, it'll put me somewhere between 170 and 150, which is what my ultimate goal is, which I never thought was possible. And the more weight I'm losing, the more that I realize anything that I want is possible. So I'm about to go on this walk. I'm going to end this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more content. And make sure you share this video with anyone you know who is facing, having trouble with their weight loss, or anyone who's considering weight loss surgery and as an option. Now, before I go, I do want to ask you guys to go in my comment section and give me some music. Give me some names of some songs that I can exercise to. What's your favorite song that you like to exercise to? Because I need to build a playlist. And I will leave you guys with this quote: the most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. Alice Walker. We have the power. I have the power. It's taking me until my 30s to realize that I have the power to do whatever. I can have whatever life I want to have. I can meet whatever goal I want to meet as long as I have the willpower to work for it. And I do. And you do. We have the power to climb up that tree, to work our behinds off, to transform into that cocoon so we can emerge as whatever butterfly we want to be. I love you all. Peace.